Great Lakes, the greatest source of fresh water in the world. With these bodies of water providing the drinking water for 30 million people in America and Canada, it seems imperative that we keep these waters clean. However, the refinery in Whiting is a major threat to this critical natural resource. To understand why, let's take a short look into the history of BP Whiting. When the Whiting refinery was first opened in the late 1800s, it was already one of the largest refineries in the nation. The refinery dumped millions of gallons of chemicals over the course of the next century. It would not be until 123 years later that BP would finally modernize the facility. The refinery has clearly not stopped polluting, as they can simply obtain permits to allow them to keep dumping. In recent years, despite being involved in multiple lawsuits, BP refuses to cease their copious discharge. The refinery dumps millions of pounds of various pollutants annually directly into Lake Michigan. With this water being distributed to so many, the excessive pollution is detrimental to the health of the residents of Whiting in the Lake Michigan area. To investigate these problems, we decided to go directly to the source.
We just arrived here in Whiting. We can see and smell the pollution, but what we're here to do is to get down there and test the water. It's time to get some samples.
We'll get back to that sample later, but first, let's get closer to the refinery.
After a grueling 2-mile hike, this is what you see. Imagine what you don't see. That's what we're going to be covering in this video. As we slowly get closer to the dumping site over there, the smell of gasoline becomes more prevalent.
Just over there, you can see the dumping pipe a mere 100 yards away from where we're standing. It reeks of gasoline, and the immense pollution here is clearly evident. Now we're going to take a deep dive into the effects of BP's pollutants on the human body. The most abundant of the dump pollutants, with over 9 million pounds dumped per year, chloride, provides useful functions in the right amounts. However, when ingesting too much, it can cause fluid imbalance, dehydration, and diarrhea. Benzene is also abundant, which is a deadly carcinogen that aids in the development of acute leukemia. The abundant heavy metals can cause a variety of health complications, including gastrointestinal and kidney dysfunction, nervous system disorders, skin lesions, vascular damage, immune system dysfunction, birth defects, and cancer. But are all these problems actually relevant? Well, by taking a look at the numbers, we see the overwhelming answer is yes. While looking at EPA's legal limit of cadmium discharge and examining the FDA limit for ingesting cadmium, we found that the water contains 357.5 times the amount of cadmium recommended by the FDA. The worst part about all these substances is that they cannot be seen when viewing the water. So, while this sample of lake water may look clean and harmless, what is truly dangerous is what you don't see.
Despite a multitude of charges being brought up against BP, they clearly haven't stopped production one bit. With over 1 billion sick per year, 1/7 of the world's population due to water pollution, and over 90% of the people nearby using Lake Michigan water to drink, this amount of pollution is clearly unacceptable.
After getting a first-hand view of the refinery, we decided to ask the locals what they thought about living near BP. Do you think that your quality of life is affected by living near the refinery?
Ultimately, overall, yes. There have been times in my childhood where I wondered if living around here would not delay my life, but make it worse in the end, as in early death, cancer, things of that sort. So overall, yes.
Overall, what the BP refinery does to local freshwater is both unjust and unfair to those living in the Lake Michigan area. While institutions such as the EPA have neglected water pollution, Our solution, New Green Future, plans to solve the current problems with BP Whiting and attack the issues head on.